This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Welcome to this week's episode of This is a Place podcast. My name is Nate, and with me is a guy who can't fully espresso his excitement for this episode, Brandon.
Oh man, I can't even put it into words. But the good thing is, when we tried this place, good thing is I didn't get a lot of caffeine.
That's right.
Because I'd be jumping all over the place. You have a bad reaction to caffeine?
I do now, since I don't drink soda, like we've talked about a million times on the episodes in the past. When I do get caffeine in one form or another, it works. I'm not immune to it anymore. Right.
Well, today we were joined by Michael Draper, who is the owner and mastermind behind Latter Day Cafe. Thanks for being here on the podcast with us, Michael.
Thanks for calling me a mastermind. It's not the worst thing I've ever been called. I quite liked it. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
I call you mastermind and Michael, but before we get too far, I want to get it out of the way. You have to tell us why you go by Flames, why that's on your business card.
Oh, yes, that is on my business card. So my full name, Michael James Draper, very biblical, very basic, very white. And my parents were just not creative, I guess. But I was. So I was really into dragons. I was really big into Mario. In fact, you can see behind me, there's actually a little
I was going to
pillow
say
that my sister got me for my birthday. She, you know, with your little siblings, you're forever your little sibling in your mind. So I was obsessed with dragon tales and dragons and princesses and dragon slaying, all the fairy tales my mom would read me. So I was determined that I was just I was going to grow up and be a professional dragon hunter. Because I figured that's the best way to marry a princess was to slay a dragon. I didn't know that there were easier ways to get girls, but was my chosen career field. And my siblings just gaslit the heck out of me and encouraged me and said, like, yeah, you can totally do that. That is a very valid career option for you, Michael. And so I was okay, well, if I'm going to be a dragon hunter, I need a cool dragon hunter name. James is dead. Flames is in. Mike Flames.
Perfect.
I had everyone call me that for like 3 years until I got really embarrassed about it. You know how like you're cool and creative and then you're like trying to be cool like everyone else when you're like 13 or 12. And then like when I was 17, 18, I guess 18, I started realizing how sick it was. So now it's my handle on all my social medias, and my sister, who's a graphic designer and my business partner, made my business cards and threw in there Michael Flames Draper. Yeah, no, she's great like that. She's a funny one. She's the funniest person I know. She's a good partner for me in business.
So tell us about your cafe. Nate and I had a chance to come down and try it down in Provo, pretty close to BYU there.
Yeah, it was really a pleasure to have you guys. These guys, thirsty men, they drank up their lattes and cappuccinos with force I'd never seen. Nathan was, you'll probably talk about it later, seemed like you were reminiscing fondly of Savada, some other fake coffees you'd been able to experience.
Right.
But the basic idea with it is that I serve the world's best coffee substitute. We use a different plant, not a coffee bean. It's a superfood called Capomo or Maya seed or Maya nut. And it's a peach-like fruit, and we take the pit out of it like a peach and roast it and grind it and refine it and process it. So we've got a secret method of processing it so it tastes the final product just like a delicious cup of coffee, except that it's naturally totally caffeine free, although we can add pure lab-made caffeine to custom levels in each drink if somebody wants it. It's super nutrient dense. It's full of potassium, calcium, folate, tons of essential nutrients. And it's really environmentally sustainable. Coffee farming, at least most coffee farming, everything done at all the big places. It's called Robusta coffee, which is sun grown, where basically they have to just clear cut rainforest and they have a big yield. It's a big moneymaker, except the coffee has no time in the soil to actually get flavor infused from the ground, and it strips the earth, and then they have to clear cut more rainforest to grow even more coffee. So our stuff, it's not even farmed, it's just harvested. Basically, people in Central America just walk around and just pick it up, and they eat the fruit, and they send me their pit garbage. Well, I shouldn't say that, but they don't need the pits, and that's what I make my drink out of. And that's why it's so nutrient rich, because it's not just a caffeinated bean, it's a whole food, it's a superfood.
How did you come across this, or like did you have a desire to find a coffee alternative, or is it just by chance?
Yeah, well, so I joined the church when I was 17, and I was a coffee addict. My dad was I would, starting about 5 or 6, I would make him a cappuccino every day, and I would always sneak little sips. When I was a teenager, I discovered well, actually, when I was Presbyterian, they had coffee in church, which was just like a vehicle for cream and sugar, which, as my little ADHD mind, just needed so much of. And then as a teenager, I discovered caramel frappuccinos from McDonald's, and I was drinking probably one of those a day at least. So I loved coffee just deeply. And when I joined the church, I quit coffee, and that was really hard because, like I said, it was amazing. And I spent the next decade just missing it. And well, actually, when I was shortly after I joined the church, I was putting some artificial vanilla extract into something, and I looked at it and stopped and thought, like, why do they have artificial vanilla but not artificial coffee? And then it was like, bing. Right there, I thought, someday I'll do it. I'll be rich. I'll call it Mojo, Mormon Joe. But I didn't pursue that then. I got into real estate, started flipping houses. But then it's like one of those things where God closes the door and opens a window. The eviction freeze during COVID. I was not allowed to evict any tenants anymore. So all my tenants knew that, so they all stopped paying their rent. So I lost my income stream. So I basically just unloaded the houses for pennies on the dollar and moved home. Decided it was time to pivot. I decided that I was going to do the world's best coffee substitute. So I spent the next year and a half, 2 years during COVID, just researching. I bought one of every coffee substitute in the world that I could find. I bought over 30 kinds of fake coffee, cost me $1,000. I tried them all, found that most of them all of them tasted kind of like hot garbage. I found one that tasted a little bit like garbage, but also a little bit like coffee. And then I spent about 6 months working with that one, the Capomo, until I developed a method that was so effective in making it taste like coffee that when I made the final product, I spat it out because I thought I had messed up and used my mom's real coffee.
Wow.
And yeah, when I realized I hadn't, I knew what I had done. So I immediately moved out to Utah to get this going. And that's a year ago today. I actually moved out in February, right after the Super Bowl. Packed up.
Looks like it's a good day to record. Happy 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you so much. No way I'd rather celebrate it. What did you guys think? You guys were there. You guys drank the drinks. No one's listening. Don't worry. If you're coffee lovers, you can tell me. No one will know.
I love the smell of coffee. Like I love going to the store.
We hear that a lot.
And my grandparents, when they come to visit, were non-members and I'd love it when they would brew the coffee in the morning, right? Have that coffee smell in the morning. But that's
the whole house. Kind
of about it. Besides the candy flavored coffee stuff that I've had, don't think I've ever had pure coffee before. So
good for you. I'm surprised how few people, even in Provo, the heart of churchdom, are true coffee virgins. So
well done. My experience, same like Nate, always loved the smell of it. Never actually tried it, except I had one time at work, everybody was getting drinks from Starbucks. And so I asked for could you say a virgin pumpkin spice latte? And they got it for me, but it wasn't, and it did have coffee in it. So I tried that. Yep, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
And then I didn't drink anymore because I found out it did have coffee, and I didn't want to do that. So that was my one experience, and
Yeah.
it was delicious. And I wish it was something I could have
Mm-hmm.
all the
Oh.
time.
So I lied. I lied. So on my mission, and you brought it up a little bit. They have a drink called Cevada, right?
Yeah.
Which is a coffee alternative. And so I was in my first area, and we had it a few times with members or even investigators. And then one night, this lady brought out, and they make us like stir it up or like chop it up or whatever, grind it up in our cup, and then they bring the water out, pour it in. But one night we were doing that, and I like looked at him like, this looks different. Tell my trainer, like, this looks different. Don't worry about it. It's just a different brand. Okay. Then I smelled it. I'm like, dude, this smells different too. And he's like, don't worry about it. It's just a different brand. They bring out the water, they pour it in, and I smell like, dude, like this smells and does not taste like it did not taste like Cevada. And when we got home that night, we were jumping up and down on the beds, and we're like, oh wait, that probably was coffee.
That was probably coffee.
So
yeah. Coffee is very unique. And it took me a long time to create a drink that actually fit the bill. Because there's some nice coffee drinks. I mean, Cevada was one of the better ones that I tried. Echo, Inca, were maybe my 3 favorites. I mean, they didn't taste like coffee to me, but they were nice, bitter, you know what I mean, wheat, barley kind of drinks.
Is it kind of like it's like Diet Coke, not actual Coke? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
like it's
actually,
just, it's there, but not all the way there.
Well, like, yeah, no, Diet Coke's actually pretty fair because it's just like, it is a soda. It's brown, it's sweet, but it tastes more like Pepsi, but what is it? It's Diet Coke.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that. Whereas like my stuff, I would say is like Coke Zero compared to Coke. Although honestly, that's not even doing quite enough justice. A lot of regular coffee drinkers, we have a really cool French guy named Jan who comes in every single day. He drinks probably 4 cups of coffee throughout the day, and then he comes into us at the evening because he doesn't want the caffeine. Awesome. Yeah, and people tell us all the time that it doesn't. Now I'm quoting my customers here, okay? That it doesn't just taste like coffee; it tastes like a really good cup of coffee. Because coffee is like wine; it can have so many tastes depending on where it's from, how it's prepared, how many deer peed on the coffee plant that year. So my stuff not all coffee is great coffee. My stuff tastes like great coffee, and I will die on that hill. I stand by it.
Well, to answer your question, I mean, both Nate and I haven't had a lot of experience with coffee, but I really enjoyed what you made me. You gave us first, we walked in, like a shot of, what was it, like cappuccino?
Yeah.
I guess
just like the little tiny
the espresso, right?
Espresso, yeah, a little tiny
espresso. That's
a shot is the pure stuff, so you could taste what it was in the base. Yeah, what do you think that was going to be? That would have been bitter.
It was very bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something I wouldn't drink every day unless I really wanted the boost.
Most coffee drinkers don't drink espresso straight.
But what I had was a
cappuccino, I believe.
A cappuccino, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Cappuccino with Irish cream and caramel.
I love that drink.
And I really liked it. I mean, again, I'm not comparing it to coffee because I haven't had it, but it's something I would drink on the reg.
Oh, be still my beating heart. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, and you also, we both got drinks for our wives. I think they were the same one, a white
chocolate raspberry iced latte.
That's what it was. And yeah, my wife drank that thing real quick.
Nice. Oh, I'm so glad. That's a great drink. There's nothing on our menu that I don't totally love. We have like total like 60 different flavors you can put in, and people are like, are they all good? I'm like, yeah, you don't see like the 200 that I rejected, you know. I'm kind of obsessive, you know. I want people to be able to throw a dart at my menu and land on something delicious.
That's how I felt like we could have done it. There's so many options that you have, and they all sounded good, which was why it was so hard to narrow it down and pick what I did. So
yeah,
I mean, it makes me anxious to try their flavors.
Oh, excellent. I guess I'm happy to make you anxious. It's not usually how I want my people to be, but yeah, Nate, what did your wife think of the white chocolate raspberry?
My wife, I guess, does not like coffee taste at all. So she wasn't very, which was exciting for me because then I got to drink it. So,
yeah. Oh, well, then what do you think?
I loved it. Like, I think,
Excellent.
because when I asked you, I wanted kind of like the most authentic coffee experience. And
I think I just gave you a cappuccino with sugar in it.
Yeah. Like, or what do you call it? The
simple syrup.
No, you did the Cafe Americano. Is
Oh,
that right?
yeah. A
We did the
cafe
Cafe
Americano.
Americano.
It's double. It's double espresso with water instead of milk.
Yeah. So you put a little cream and some
Sugar.
sugar in it, and it was great. I mean, like you said, it kind of gave me that nostalgic thoughts to Savada, but just a little bit sweeter taste, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But the raspberry one was more like to me like a dessert drink, with
Yeah.
the sugar. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really good, but it had like that
That's.
little different kick to it than you would get
Mm-hmm.
from like a milkshake or something like that. I can't explain it, but it was really
Yeah.
good. I loved it. So
You can't explain it. You have to taste it.
yeah, so I technically got two drinks that night, so
Ooh,
it was great.
cheating
So
the
thanks.
system.
Second drink.
Second drink.
Second drink. So
Because Office fans love that show.
Yeah, we quote it way too much on here.
Oh, don't we all? Don't we all? I saw some deleted scenes with Stanley and Jim in Florida today that I thought were great. Well, I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. The lattes are my favorite. It's sort of funny. As much as everyone loves the smell of coffee, it's almost like a universal human experience to like the first time you taste coffee. It's like your grandfather or your dad just gives you a little sip of his black coffee, and it's hot and so bitter, and you grown-ups are gross, and you put
Right.
it away, and you're never gonna have it again until you get a latte in the future, and then you're hooked.
yeah. So I quit soda. I was a soda addict for a long time. So I quit soda about 7 years ago.
Oh, good for you.
And so this was
I'm
great
not
because I'm
doing
always
that.
searching for that kind of alternative, something else besides lemonade to drink that's not on water. So
Yeah.
this was great. Something a little different. And then you can add the caffeine if you want that
Mhm.
extra kick. So
I'm really glad you guys enjoyed your drinks. I'm sure this could have gone a whole different way if you guys
Sure
were
could
just
have.
pretending.
Yeah.
Me arguing with you. No, you enjoyed it. It tasted good.
you did it wrong. Come back.
You did it wrong. This is your fault, not me. Yeah, and we're not perfect, but I strive for perfection.
So you said you've been in Utah since February of 2021. When did the
Yes.
shop open up?
So that's a funny story, actually. Originally, I was doing all the workshopping and like development during the middle of the pandemic, and apparently Utah was like pretty based. They didn't give much of a rat's, and they just like kept things going pretty normal after like a week or two. I was in North Carolina. Was one of like it was run by who's the freaking I forget his name. It's Roy Cooper, maybe. Yeah. He's the one of like two governors that Trump came out and was like, it's a huge disaster. These governors, they're treating their citizens like prisoners. It's disgusting, really sad. It's tragic. Look at Florida. Florida, they have it on perfect disease control and they're free, no masks. But North Carolina was hard lockdown. Like you couldn't, like you, I tried to, when I first got there, I like tried to like walk into a Walmart and I didn't like have a mask because like, why would I have a mask? I mean, this is the whole thing, but this guy almost like wanted to fight me. And I was like, what? People are very locked down there. So anyway, because of that, I didn't think that I wanted to own a cafe indoor dining space. It didn't seem like a good idea at the time where I was. I didn't know that Utah was so blessed. And so I was going to do a food truck. And so actually when I came out here, I put a couple of coins together and I bought a food truck. I drove all the way down to New Mexico, picked it up and drove it all the way back, ran out of gas in the mountains at 3 a.m. and thought I might die, siphoned gas out of the generator and put it into the tank and made it home with my food truck, got it all decked out. I probably had like 55 grand into this food truck, all said and done. And I was going to open on July 5th. And July 2nd, the food truck, I'm driving it and gets hit by a dump truck on the highway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Totaled. And shout out Allstate. They said, yeah, I know you had a $50,000 plan, but you know what? We think we want to give you $20,000. I'm like, what? That's not enough. So I fought with them tooth and nail and got a little bit more out of them, but it wasn't enough to replace the truck. But I did some research and I got lucky, and there's a whole nother story to it, but I found our spot at the Hut, which is like it's like a food court that's not attached to a mall. It's called the Collective Eatery or a food hall. So it's
Which
a
is
bunch
so
of
awesome. We
yeah.
both were in agreement.
Yeah, isn't that great? All the restaurants can come together and share utilities. We all pay a common bill for the soda machine, and we can all sell sodas. And so it's just like sharing the load. So anyway, we were really lucky to have that spot, and actually really lucky that COVID closed the restaurant that was in the spot that we were in. But when God closes an acai bowl place, he opens the Latter-day Cafe. That's a saying.
I like it.
So anyway, we opened up officially September 1st after all the drama and insurance. And it felt like, honestly, I hope this doesn't sound like I'm comparing myself in any serious way to a prophet, but I remember reading about Joseph Smith and his family being like kicked around and cheated and lied to and losing their farm like 4 times and being driven into I can't where's the Sacred Grove, upstate New York?
Palmyra.
Palmyra. The path to Palmyra is an article by Matthew Holland. Anyway, but they were driven there because that's where the gold plates were, allegedly, if you believe that I do. I mean, he needed to be there. So God kicked their family around until they were in Palmyra. And I felt like God kind of kicked me around until I was in the the Hut. And I'm glad he did, because it's been a dream. Tons of support, just tons of great customers and great resources. I wouldn't want it any other way.
So how has the response been from members, and I guess just from everybody? Because what would you say to people that are, avoiding the appearance of evil? You might say something like that against, like, sure, it's not coffee, but still is,
First time
I don't agree with that.
First time I've ever heard that.
No?
No, just kidding. No, a lot of people say that. It's actually more like ex-Mormons who like want to make us feel like hypocrites, and they're like, "What happened to avoiding the appearance of evil, elder? What are you doing?" But it's no more coffee than it's no more like coffee than hot chocolate. It tastes like coffee, right? But you can't look at a cup and know what you can't see taste, right? And we have a really unique logo. It's Moroni holding a coffee cup and sort of a Starbucks style. We have "It's not coffee" as sort of our slogan. I just ordered a bunch of cups from China that are going to say "It's not coffee" printed underneath the logo. We don't serve anything that is coffee. It's almost like the church equivalent of a kosher deli. I think a lot of people are suggesting you should just sell coffee. Why not? Why not sell coffee? And like, we don't want there to be any doubt. I mean, you see somebody with the Latter-day Cafe coffee cup, Capomo espresso cup, that they're not drinking coffee. They're drinking a healthier, more environmentally sustainable coffee alternative. Word of wisdom safe is the word I've been saying. Okay, great. We're not recording, right? So I can tell everybody that's actually secretly coffee, and they won't know.
It's just been coffee, though. That's why you're pushing the quote unquote caffeine shots.
Yeah, because if you don't get caffeine, you won't be fooled.
It's really just the caffeinated coffee you've been selling.
Yes, people like to talk about that. But I guess back on what Brandon was saying, the reception's been really good. Honestly, I feel like we're offending people on both sides just a little bit, which I like. I feel like that means like we're in the sweet spot where we're occupying headspace for a lot of people. Because I mean, we're not a sacrilegious, we're not an anti-church anyway. My sister and I are both active church members. But even still, because some people can't get over the appearance of evil, they think like, no, it's a no. And people, I posted a meme actually yesterday in ex-Mormon Reddit. I went to the ex-Mormon Reddit subreddit. I made a meme. You guys have seen Endgame? Yes. I would hope. Okay, good. So
is that the Marvel one? Yes.
The Marvel
okay.
one with Thanos, with angry Barney, purple dinosaur. So there's a line where he's talking to one of his quote unquote daughters. Anyway, oh, my favorite daughter. Perhaps I treated you too harshly. And I put, so it was the picture of Thanos with that caption, perhaps I treated you too harshly. And above it, I wrote like Exmos when they try Latter Day Cafe and realize that it actually does taste like coffee. It's just healthier and better for the earth. And I posted that in Ex-Mormon Ex-Mormon Reddit, and it was a firestorm. it was
Nothing but
great.
positivity.
Nothing but love and support. They really took a joke.
And then you remembered why you got out of the dragon slaying.
Yes. No, but honestly, it was interesting. There was only a couple of people that were like bitter. Other people were, after you talked to them for a second and explained everything, they sort of got it when they realized that it wasn't just a church thing. Because the market is much bigger than just for the church. I mean, I'm here marketing to the church because it's free real estate. But when as the earth, if it continues to heat up, there's some experts that believe that coffee farming just won't be able to continue like it is. And people are sort of becoming aware of like just the damage that it can cause. And it's not terrible for you, but it's not very healthy. Coffee is. So there are growing fake coffee companies like Mudwater. There's Impossible Foods. They backed a fake coffee to the tune of like $3 million. There's another group that's working on developing like literally like chemically the same drink as coffee, but made in a lab. So I don't know if how that'll fly with the word of wisdom, but I'm not too worried about it because my stuff tastes better and it's healthier
And we can keep
and it's natural. Yeah, right. So I think I'm hitting a spot that no one else is. And my method is patented and secret. So I feel good for the future. But anyway, I think the market is bigger than just Utah, is what I was saying. But Utah is the first step. First Utah, then the world. And people have been nice to me here in Utah. So I love that.
If you decide to take it to the masses outside of Utah, would you think about changing the name? Because you think people would get it outside of Utah? They'd be like, I don't get it. I mean,
potentially. I mean, I was talking to some people that think that it would do really well in Asia, and I wouldn't need to change the name. They would just see it and think it's different. Apparently in Asia, people just like to try new things. Anything new, people line up. They like to line up and do new things. Right. It might help if I rebranded outside of Utah. But also, I mean, we're building a name recognition. I mean, in 6 months ago, nobody knew anything about us. But now, I get stopped by the cashier at Walmart. You know what I mean? Like, are you the fake coffee guy?
And now you're on the biggest Utah podcast ever. So.
Absolutely. This is my dream. It really is, though. I really appreciate you guys having me on because I love to talk about it, and you guys are cool. I consider you guys my friends. So remember, you'll always get the friend price whenever you come in. I hope you'll come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But you can also DoorDash us. If you're listening to this and feeling thirsty, check on DoorDash, see if we'll serve you because we'd like to. And we need your money.
I don't think DoorDash reaches us over here in West Jordan, but
sure. But I hopefully your viewership is bigger.
But I do have I usually get season tickets to the football game down there, so maybe that's where I'll go hang out while I wait for traffic to.
Oh yeah. So
did you get a lot of traffic after football games, or did you notice that at all?
Yeah. We do pretty well after football games. I think we were still pretty new when the season was in mid-swing. I mean, we're slowly becoming, I think, sort of a part of Provo culture. People are sort of figuring us out.
You got to get into the games, man.
That'd be great. We need to get our food truck. So I still have the busted food truck, but I don't have a spare like $30,000 to fix it back up. So when I do, then we'll be there. We're plugging along. We're in the black. We're making money. We're paying our bills, but I feel like right now we're just sort of proving a concept and looking for investors. We're saving. Hopefully, in a couple months we'll be able to open up another store on our own funds. But you guys know how it is. You guys are entrepreneurs, businessmen.
What is the next place you're looking at, or you looking at
this one's
Salt
fun.
Lake area?
Maybe I shouldn't. Nah, I'll say it anyway. Okay. So So there's a couple things. One, we have some pretty serious prospect at a place in Orem. But my real dream second location, I've already got approval for Traverse Mountain Outlets in Lehigh. There's a big parking lot like right out front of the, I believe it's the Nike store. I've talked to the owners of Traverse Mountain Outlets. They really want a cafe, and they want us. So they want us to build a cafe in their parking lot with a drive-through to service their customers, which would be huge because we have all the tech companies there. And it's like literally every day, a couple people will stop me and be like, you guys got to come to Saratoga. You guys got to come to Lehigh. You guys got to come out this way. So we got to go where the people want us. And it seems like that's where they want us. So we're excited about that.
That's closer to us, so I like to hear that.
Yes. Hopefully, I mean, the goal is to kill Starbucks, right? The goal is to be the biggest cafe in Utah. Maybe the world someday. But I definitely have like a 10-year goal to have like 500 stores at least. Be selling. I tell people my 10-year goal is to be selling 80% of all the coffee drinks. I mean, quote unquote, coffee drinks in Utah. And I think we can do it. And we're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit, but it's going well so far.
You're very active on social media, got a TikTok, and you pump out some entertaining content, I will say.
Thank you. I never know. I just sort of spitball. I just listen to the trends and the audios and I try to make jokes. And sometimes it's maybe a little bit edgy and sometimes it's relatable. As crazy as some of the stuff I've posted is, you should see. Yeah. Well, you should see what's in my drafts. You should see what I don't post. I have a group chat on Instagram with a bunch of like local, like meme pages, like pages with a few thousand followers that post memes, and they're all pretty edgy people. So I post them. I send them all of my, like, sometimes if it's something's on the edge, I'm like, what do you guys think? Too much? And they'll always tell me to send it no matter how bad it is, but I still send it to them. And I try to filter some because we try to be, I mean, there's a lot of Draper moms that check our stuff. So I try not to push it too hard. Every so often, someone will tell me like, this really isn't something you should post. And if I get like one comment like that a week, then I feel like that's about right. You know, as long as just a couple of people are a little bit, I don't know, then everybody else is like, oh, that deep laugh where they're like, oh, that's great.
The one thing I was curious about, I followed a little bit of it, but did you only drink quote unquote coffee for
Capomo.
January?
Yeah. So that was my challenge. I was trying to do a 30-day Capomo only diet. I made it 14 days. And I still, let me say, I didn't go the whole month. I plan to do it again, maybe maybe next January, try it again. I was working like 13 hours a day at my business and I was trying to work out twice a day. And it was just, also I take an ADHD medication that like suppresses my appetite. And so it was honestly tough for me to get to drink enough lattes because I needed to drink like at least 5 extra large iced lattes a day.
Wow.
Just to get the calories. And I had to put extra coffee and Capomo in to get the nutrition. And I cheated 2 times. I had 2 dates. I had a date to In-N-Out where I had a burger. And I think I had another date where I had something. I just didn't want, they were cute girls and I didn't want to be sipping on a latte and In-N-Out while they ate a burger. How dare you? I want to replicate more than I want to finish a Capomo diet. So I felt great at the end of it, but as much as I was working, I just couldn't stick on the liquid diet. I needed to poop again. I made it 14 days. I felt great at the end of it. But I just didn't, I didn't finish it all 30 days, but I did 14 days of only having Capomo with 2 cheats.
Very respectable. It's more than I could have done. I'm lucky if I can make it a whole day without eating. Nate's the pro at that.
At eating or not
Yes.
eating?
Both.
I don't eat 3 days a week.
Really? Is that intermittent fasting or what is that?
Yeah.
My parents were doing that. Everyone's doing that. I haven't done the research. Why would you do that to yourself? That sounds so bad. It sounds healthy, I'm sure, but it just, I miss food.
It's more probably, yeah, I'm a big foodie, as you can tell, but it's more laziness because when you do a diet, there's too much thinking, right? Like you're just talking about, like you have to
Yes.
plan meals out. Whereas like, oh, you can do a diet where you just don't have to eat. You don't have to buy anything. You just don't eat. I'm like,
Save
yeah, I can do
time,
that.
live better.
Yeah. So even when I was a gym rat and I was doing, trying to be healthy, I wouldn't tell people that, but I was doing intermittent fasting, but I thought people would frown upon it, right?
Oh, interesting.
Then all of a sudden it became like a fad. I'm like, oh, that's a good thing to intermittent fast. So, because I would go like 2-3 days without eating sometimes, and
Wow.
just because it was easy, right? And turns out it was supposedly healthy, but I didn't tell anybody I was doing it because I didn't want people like,
Freak out.
it's unhealthy. You shouldn't do that. Yeah.
Yourself.
Yeah. So,
Everyone's an expert on if it's different than what they're doing.
yep. The internet told me this.
What are your favorite? What's your favorite? Like when you're breaking a fast, it's been 3 days. Is there a restaurant or something your wife will cook?
That's a good question. It's like if you do like a 3-day fast, like by day 2, you feel like every commercial is a burger commercial or Taco Bell, right?
Yeah.
So it just depends on. And every day I don't eat. You just like walk past anything. You're like, well, tomorrow I'm going to eat that. Tomorrow I'm going to eat that.
Oh
But
yeah.
by the time it comes, I like cereal a lot. So cereal is always something I usually want to have.
Oh, cereal's delish.
I love cereal, but just depends. And then I usually the days that I do eat, I start out, okay, I'm going to eat healthy today. And then by like 3:00, I'm like, just keep going with this package of Oreos. Who cares?
Oreos are so good. Cookies and cream. We have a really great cookies and cream flavor that I make into a frappuccino, which is like an iced latte, but like a milkshake, basically. It's one of my go-tos is cookies and cream frap. It's delish.
Oh, okay.
That's a good question. What would you recommend to somebody for their first time? I know we mentioned what we got, but what are some of the
course
best first?
Sure. Well, the first thing I say, hot or cold? And then they'll say hot, and I'll say, okay, well, are you a big coffee person? Don't worry, I won't tell. It's funny every time. And usually they're not. And I'll say, okay, well, I would do a latte or a cappuccino. Okay, I'm not going to keep them through the whole spiel. I would usually recommend like a cappuccino to start, or maybe a latte. A cappuccino is a little stronger taste, but the creamy foam is so nice. And flavor-wise, I like brown sugar cinnamon. I like chocolate chip cookie dough, caramel, vanilla. Snickerdoodle, it's one that we offer. It's really nice. And in a cold drink, my favorite drink, probably Capomo or coffee drink of all time. It's a caramel frappuccino. Something about it is just like, I call it the king of coffee. It's just delicious. It's cold, it's sweet, it's bitter, it's sugary, it's everything you want.
Was it that what you said you got at McDonald's?
Mm-hmm.
How does yours compare to McDonald's?
Okay, well, I'll say that McDonald's used to have the best caramel frappuccino in the world, but now they can get in the back. I'm in town now. My caramel fraps are amazing. I probably drink one every day. I'm back to it. I'm back on my BS. I'm working the cafe myself a lot these days, just trying to save up some money so we can get more cafes in the future. So if you guys come down or anyone else, you'll be likely to see me or potentially my sister, Ruthie, the pretty blonde, behind you making you drinks. So we'll look forward to seeing you anytime. I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching. Best Pixar movie all time?
I'd say
Pixar?
Mhm.
pretty good.
Incredibles.
Ooh,
Incredibles is good.
Up. Yeah.
Up's a good one.
Well, maybe not as a whole. As far as like like the 10-minute the married life sequence with the piano, and they can't have a baby, and then she dies, and there's the music.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, if you haven't seen.
There's
yet.
an Up house here in Utah, though, right?
Wait, really?
Yeah, out in Harriman or Daybreak. Is it Daybreak
Yeah.
or Harriman?
I think it's deep.
Some guy, they built a replica of the App house.
What? That's crazy. You guys heard another fun Pixar fact. Rick Astley, he has the largest Pixar movie collection
Really?
in the States. Yeah. And he's really generous. He'll lend you any of them except for Up. He's never going to give you up. Never going to let you down.
Just got rickrolled.
Yeah, you did. Get Rick Roll podcast lol. Hey, one thing I want to plug if I can before we're done. We do bottle and ship our Capomo espresso out of state. So if anybody is within the sound of my voice, send us a message on Instagram. We sell like 25-ounce bottles of the concentrated, like, because espresso is basically strong coffee, but ours is not, obviously.
Right.
Each bottle is enough to make like 7 drinks, and 6 or 7 drinks, and each bottle is $25, and we can customize the level of caffeine in the bottle, so each of your 6 or 7 drinks can have as much caffeine as you want. So at
So that would
Latter
be
Day
what you would,
Cafe, huh?
that would be your equivalent of black coffee, right?
Of
So if you just mix-
espresso. If you mixed it
Right.
like equal parts with water, it would be like black coffee.
Okay, so you would have to mix in your own
Milk and flavor if you want
whatever
a
you
latte.
need. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So can we order that, and then you can give us specific instructions on how to tailor it?
Yeah,
Is
for
that-
sure. Well, I'll tell you now. It's basically for a latte, let's say a 12-ounce latte, you would it's about like 3 or 4 ounces of the Capomo and a third as much sweetener if you want it to be sweet, or no sweetener if you don't like sweetener, and then milk and ice, and you have a nice latte. So it's pretty simple, and I'm always on Instagram providing IT support if you can't figure out how to pour a bottle. So
Good to know.
Do you have any idea what the nutritional value is? Like,
so of our specific formulation, no. But the plant that we use, you can look up and find its nutritional content online. And ours is just like really strong. Like it's probably each latte, I imagine, is about like 1 or 2, maybe 1.5 serving. Like a small latte is probably like 1 serving of Capomo. So if you find out, the nutritional content of Capomo, which you can find on the internet, CAPOMO, the nutritional content is good. But I'm such a small business. I hope to have some independent, analysis done in the future of my specific formulation. But right now I'm just trying to keep the lights on.
That's why we got to blow you up. Have everybody check out Latter Day Coffee.
Cafe.
Oh, sorry. Latter Day
I
Cafe.
forgive you.
Check him out on Instagram.
Brendan has had his coffee today, so he's
I haven't
a little
had
tired.
I haven't had my Capomo yet. So
Hey, remembered. Well, awesome, gentlemen. Thank you both so much for having me on. Really was a pleasure. I'm glad that I talked to you instead of seeing a girl that I was going to see. So
well, I got to say it again. Thanks to Michael for having us.
I was gonna say thanks a latte for being our friend, Michael.
Thanks a latte for being our friend indeed.
Latte. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to talk with him. He's a good guy, and I think a pretty cool concept that he's got going on. And yeah, my biggest concern was that if I went down there and really liked it, I'd be wanting to get coffee all the time. I'm not quite there yet, but the sooner he can come to the Salt Lake area, the better, I would say.
And one thing we failed to mention while we had him on there is that they do have free 900, what was it? Internet service.
Oh, 900 megabytes internet.
Yeah, service. So free. I just love that the sign specifies how fast the internet is there. And they have a cool piano there with a hymn book. So if you can sit down and play some hymns, sing some songs.
Drink your fake coffee, play some hymns.
And like he mentioned, they have a few choices there. So you can get some food, grab your latte, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, definitely would recommend you try it out.
Don't worry, be frappe.
Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.